Hi, my name is Mike Tusaw. I'm a financial advisor from St. Charles Wealth Management. Today we're going to discuss synthetics. Now, before we get into it, I want to kind of give the purpose of why I'm doing this video presentation on something like synthetics. A story about, oh gosh, many, many years ago. This is long before I was an advisor. I was just trading options. And so I had a short put. I was trading them on the 10-year. I had a short put and I was concerned about some announcement coming out. So I bought another put. And then from there, I was concerned with, well, what if Val drops? So then I sold another put. And then I kept getting concerned with about 8 different things. And then finally, I got to the point to where I put on, instead of just having a one-legged trade, I had an 8-legged trade. And I was excited about it. I'm like, okay, I think I've finally prepared for everything that could possibly go wrong. And then when I looked at the actual trade itself, the position delta, gamma, theta, vega, and rho, it all came out to 0. I did so many trades that they canceled each other out. And it really didn't help me any, but the only one that really did benefit was my broker at the time. So what I want to do today is give you some help on how to understand how you can prevent that from happening to you, to just get an understanding of how various trades work and what to look for. Now, before getting into this video, if you haven't watched our videos on covered calls and cash secured puts and on vertical spreads, I'd suggest watching those first. We're going to go a little bit faster here with the assumption that you already understand it. And so on here, let's look at the basic example, covered call versus cash secured put. It's the same thing. Now, with that, if you sell a covered call at the money, assuming you own the stock, and you just sell a cash secured put at the money on the exact same stock, it's going to be about the same risk reward. Now, the put might be slightly less because a lot of times maintenance requirements are less on puts, so you might not get quite as much for put. But for the most part, it's going to be within a nickel a lot of times, depending on the stock, of course, and if it pays a dividend and some other things on it. But the point is, it's the same thing. Let's think about it. If you own the stock and it stays the exact same, then that call expires worthless. You make that dollar or whatever it is. You sell the cash secured put. Stock expires right at the money. Put expires worthless. You make that same amount of money. Now, what if the stock goes higher? Well, you don't get to participate on the upside because you sold the call, but that dollar's yours. Same holds true with a cash secured put. Stock goes higher. You don't get to participate, but that put will expire worthless and you'll get it. Now, what if the stock goes lower? If the stock goes lower, well, you have the risk of the stock because you own it on the covered call side of it, but that call expires worthless, so you get a dollar out of it. The stock goes lower on the short put side of it. Well, you'll take on that risk because you're obligated to buy the stock, but you get paid a dollar to do it. So the point is that it's the same thing when doing so. On a covered call versus a cash secured put, it's the exact same thing either way. Now, next, let's talk about how spreads can work in the synthetic world. Spreads can be a little bit more complex, but before you trade them, I think you should really have an understanding of it. Basic example would be call spread versus put spread. It's a vertical one, let's say. Anytime you sell a put spread, a vertical, let's say you sold the 50 and you bought the 45 and the stock's at 55, it's the exact same risk reward as buying the call spread. Once again, selling the put spread is the same thing as buying the call spread and vice versa. Now, sometimes it makes more sense to do one versus the other based on your exit point or where you want to get out or where you might be able to get a better fill. It just kind of depends. But have the understanding that it's the exact same thing. Same could hold true with calendar spreads. Whether you buy or sell a call spread or a put spread, it can be the same thing. So for example, let's say you just bought an at the money horizontal put spread, sold the 1 month, bought the 4 month. Well, if that's the case, then the time will decay from it. But the same would hold true if you did the same setup with calls. So from that point, what's going to happen as you're doing this is that you're going to see that sometimes you may have more liquidity on one side or the other, and it might make sense to do a call spread versus a put spread or vice versa. What I would recommend is that if this is a new concept to you and you are currently trading, look at the other way with which to make the trade before you make your next few trades. By doing that, you can educate yourself on how things work and just have a better understanding on how the options space works. If you enjoyed today's video, please subscribe. That's how we get our content out to more people. If you're looking for a financial advisor who works in the options space, assuming it's appropriate for the client, feel free to reach out to me. Go to stcharleswealth.com. You can book an appointment with me. Also, please follow me on Twitter at Mike Tusaw. I try to put out as much content as I can. Thank you and have a wonderful day.